Playing the news. We have all been there. I certainly have. I bought a stock I really thought was a winner. Like the perfect first date. It looked good, it felt good, it sounded good, it smelt right, and most of all, it acted right. The bill, of course, was the earnings report. Earnings were great. The chart looked good. The fundamentals looked great. It had an order book full of new contracts in a booming economy. An industry leader delivering a good service. Yet, when the excellent earnings were reported, beating estimates no less, the stock plummeted 50% in one day. I guess my free news sources, including Reuters and other sources, saw me as the last drop-off point for their baggage. Did you know that unless you pay for the premium services offered by Bloomberg and Reuters, you receive the news with at least a 30-minute delay? On release of the earnings, the company decided to issue more new stock to the market. The stock price had quadrupled in the previous 4 months to over $2, and the future was rosy. Yet my delay in news hurt me. When this charlatan of a company decided to issue extra stock to raise capital for one of its new mega projects, it issued them at 50% of the value of the stock available on the market. This immediately involved carnage to the stock price. In fact, the price, although eventually recovering, has again slumped to under $1. I was not playing the news. The news played me. There are those that play the news with some success. The problem with playing the news is it is not hard and cold facts. It is feelings, interpretation, and an abstract appreciation for how the public interprets news events. How often does it happen that when a good earnings report is announced, the stock falls? Too often. Why? There is a saying on Wall Street that you buy the rumor and sell the news. That's great if you mingle in the rumor circles that might pay. Insiders, employees, good buddies with the CEO. However, for us mere mortals, we might not have these advantages. I've also heard of too many rumors that have backfired. Tips from a friend in the industry, the nod from the supplier to a new startup company with a bright future. Apart from being illegal, insider trading of this nature, especially when second-hand, is completely unreliable. But to some extent, we all play the news. One way or another, it gets us. Turn on any news channel and the reporters are constantly overstating the meaning of things. We should not believe everything we read. The fact is, if we take news with a pinch of salt and make our own minds up, it can be useful. But too much news can drag you in with the sheep on the road to the slaughterhouse.
So as we are on the topic of news services and most news services being delayed, the only real way to get great real-time news is actually to buy a premium package. Now, there are a number of packages available. There is one from Thomson Reuters. There's one available in Metastock using the Refinitiv package. Personally, I use Benzinga Pro, and I'm a partner with Benzinga Pro, but for me, it's the best real-time news service there is around. So you can go to benzinga.com. With a premium account, you can log in, and that essentially gives you access to this Benzinga Pro real-time news service for traders. So if you want to trade the news, this is your best advantage you can possibly have to trade the news real time and in a short-term basis. Or if you have large amounts of money invested in certain stocks, or especially in medical or pharma stocks where FDA ratings, the speed of getting the news of FDA approvals or denials, is absolutely critical for you to get out of your investment because the stock price volatility is so high, then something like Benzinga Pro is what I would recommend for trading the news. So essentially, here we have my configuration of Benzinga Pro, and you can of course chat, and there's a huge amount of chat that goes on in the chat dashboard. But we're not here to look at the chat. We're here to look at the Benzinga Pro Newsfeed. So you can configure it in many different ways. I have the Newsfeed, the earnings calendar, and then Benzinga Signals. So essentially this news feed is continually updating. You can see the news source, what the news is. But the beauty of this is essentially I can configure it exactly as I want to see it. So I can choose what news sources I want to have. Benzinga Signals, Benzinga Wire are key. There's also Benzinga Wire in Italian or Spanish. And there's SEC News, for example, the Security and Exchange Commission. But also you can choose the categories. So for example, for me, I want to see the exclusive, Benzinga exclusive news. And Benzinga will rate actually their news as being hot, for example. And hot means this is news that potentially can severely impact a stock price, either up or down, or it can impact a market. So that's absolutely vital news. And the Benzinga news team rate each news article as hot or bullish or bearish, etc. They also have market moving exclusives. You can choose what markets you are actually interested in. And there's a pre-market outlook and the Benzinga Signals. So Benzinga Signals is very good because here at the bottom, you can see actually if there's been a block trade, that's a huge number of stocks put up for sale. And this tells you which company that's in, or if there's a price spike, etc. in any particular stock. So Benzinga Signals is very important, and the top stories of the day and trading ideas. So we can configure trading ideas here as well. So very configurable. And let's have a look. We see here over here the earnings calendar, so what's coming up, but we can drop that out. We can look at the signals. We can look at the news feed. And of course, with any stock that you look at here, for example, you can drill down into the actual article. And also we can have a look at, hover over this. You can see Amazon. You can see its competitors here as well. Click on Amazon. We get an overview of the stock for the company, all the news for Amazon or its competitors here underneath there. And we can see this particular news feed, the calendar. We can see obviously the Amazon chart. We can take a look at then the financials. This is very nice. And we can then see its competitors, key data on the company, shares outstanding, float, cash flow statement, etc. And we can obviously see the financials, balance sheet, income statement, cash flow. So a very good way to receive breaking news. So we see here there's some news from Facebook. Facebook stock breaks resistance. So that's some technical news. Why Virgin Galactic is rocketing higher today. IPO preview, etc. And one other thing is the Squawk Box. So I'm going to press play here and we should hear news being live announced by the news desk team. So we leave that running. So this means you don't continually need to stare at the screen waiting for news to break. You may be doing other things, analyzing a stock or doing your email, for example. And then the Squawk Box will kick in when there's breaking news. So often will be before even the news is released here in the news screen. So it highlights important news that is coming up. So here we can see I've pressed play here on the Squawk. It says status connected, waiting for audio. So let's wait for some news to come in.
RVP, Retractable Technologies, announcing buyback plan and payment of all dividends up to $10 million in the buyback of common stock. That's Romeo Victor Papa, RVP.
So there you can see we had a Squawk that informed me that there was news in a particular stock. So for me, if you're thinking of trading the news, only do it when you have a professional news live stream feed. And for me, Benzinga Pro is the fastest, the most configurable, and also much less than its competitors. So comparing this to a Bloomberg terminal, this is 10% of the price of a Bloomberg terminal. So check out pro.benzinga.com.
Well, what do you think of the platform? Is it the right choice for you? Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button. It'll really help the channel out.
and click subscribe if you want to be notified about future stock investing lessons, strategies, and software videos.